Following breaking news here on SportsCenter, not the news that Ohio State wanted. Michigan has canceled its game against Ohio State this Saturday due to positive COVID-19 cases and student athletes in quarantine in the Wolverines program. Michigan saying in a statement it will continue daily testing with hopes of getting back on the practice field when cleared by medical professionals. It's good to welcome back Paul Finebaum here on SportsCenter. So, Paul, this news coming in moments ago. And the Big Ten conference rules are clear. 6 wins in order, or rather 6 games played to get into the Big Ten championship game. Now Ohio State doesn't have that. What should the Big Ten do now with regard to 4th-ranked Ohio State?
Well, it seems like the Big Ten has to find a way to rearrange the schedule this weekend, Randy, and I think they will. If they don't, they're really cutting their own throat. Remember, this is a league that on August 11th shut down, then they came back and really left themselves no wiggle room. It's important to remember on December 19th, when the Big Ten championship game is going to be held, the rest of the league is going to be playing that day. So all they need to do is rearrange some things. It's not the biggest deal in the world. And I sense they'll do it. I'm sure it wouldn't be that difficult. But the fact that the Ohio State-Michigan game is gone is just shocking news, even in the year of COVID, when you consider that many believe that is the greatest rivalry in all of college football. There are a few people in Alabama that might dispute that, but there's no disputing the importance of that game.
Well, speaking of Alabama, and just speaking of other teams, right, in this country that have a shot at the playoff, and right now we're on the outside looking in because Ohio State occupies that 4th spot. If the Buckeyes don't get another game and they're 5-0 and they don't play in the Big Ten championship game, how should the College Football Playoff Selection Committee view Ohio State?
Well, ultimately, they may get another game on the 19th, but they won't be a champion, and I think that could hurt them. Although it's very possible this year you could see Alabama get in, should Alabama lose to Florida, and you could see the same thing with Notre Dame should the Irish lose to Clemson. So that data point I don't think is going to be that critical. And I'm sure out there in the Twitter sphere some people are also saying, hey, why not play a quote-unquote play-in game to the college football playoff? What I mean by that, Randy, is this. Texas A&M, which will likely be number 5 this week, doesn't have a game either Saturday because it lost the game against Ole Miss due to COVID. I know that probably won't happen, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of speculation about why it couldn't happen.
Especially after what happened with BYU and Coastal Carolina. We've seen big games come together on short notice, and perhaps maybe necessity driving this invention here with regard to the schedule. I want to go back to something you said about the Big Ten with regard to what is perhaps the easiest path here. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying adjust the schedule over adjusting the rules. It would be easier for the Big Ten to say, hey, why don't we just get a game for you here moving forward, get you that 6th game this week in place of Michigan, over basically walking back some of the rules that they implemented when they decided to come back and, as you say, left themselves just no margin for error here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be more legitimate to at least force Ohio State to do something else to get to that game. I don't think there's any doubt they're the best team in the league. They've beaten Indiana, which looks like they're very likely to be the 2nd best team. But if they don't do that, then they leave themselves at the mercy of the committee. But if they get Ohio State into the championship game, and by doing that, they need a game this weekend, then it takes care of itself. If Ohio State beats, let's say, Wisconsin or Nebraska or somebody this weekend, and then plays Northwestern the following weekend, they're going to get into the college football playoff at that point. If they don't play this weekend, they are really rolling the dice.
The Big Ten also has this rule standing in the way of that potential, as you say, Ohio State, maybe Texas A&M, sort of a resume booster for both schools to try to get into the college football playoff. And the Big Ten has that non-conference game rule right now where only conference games are allowed for this sort of Frankenstein together season that we're working with.
And Randy, this is not like this rule has been into effect for 200 years. The Big Ten is literally making this up as they go along. They came back and put that rule in. The Big Ten normally doesn't have 8-game seasons, so I don't think it would be that difficult. And besides, they've had 2 weeks to get ready for this. Michigan has been in peril for more than a week, almost a week and a half right now. So I feel pretty certain that Kevin Warren, the Big Ten commissioner, in consultation with athletic directors around this conference, have been talking about this. Now they have to act, and they have to act pretty quickly.
There are some folks perhaps in the Buckeye State hearing that name evoked there in the Big Ten offices, and maybe some eyes are being rolled. That is Paul Finebaum. We appreciate the insight here on SportsCenter.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.